Acha ji, let me try and explain a few things about the industry. So this is the Pakistan Mobile Phone Manufacturers Association. It's a group of 31 companies which comprise global brands as well as local brands. And we are manufacturing 95% of all mobile phones that are sold in Pakistan, alhamdulillah. What is our future vision? Next slide कीजिएगा भी. चल नहीं रही. Okay. Minister Sahab, this is something that I want to especially say to the government. Sometimes we don't understand our power as a country, as a market, as a domestic economy, as a large number of people, which is the 5th largest population on the planet. I've made a comparison of 4 countries, Pakistan, Malaysia, Vietnam, and South Korea. And if you were to look at the area, Pakistan, as compared to these 3 other countries, is the biggest by far. I mean, if Pakistan is at 100% in terms of land mass, Malaysia is only 41%, Vietnam is 1/5 of our size, and South Korea is about 1/10 of our size. And if you were to look at the population, with 225 million people, comparing with Malaysia, they're only 14% of the size of our population. Vietnam is 43% of the size of our population, and South Korea is merely 23% of the size of our population. Now, this is the power that we do not realize, really. I mean, this is something, this is a treasure that we have, a big population which drives a big demand, and a very young population at the same time. If you were to look at the per capita income, sir, at $5,748 on a PPP basis, Malaysia is at 28,000, Vietnam is at 11,000. I mean, and we look at Korea, it's 47,000. So I mean, the countries that are focusing on technology, all of these 3 countries, I mean, Malaysia started to bring Matsushita, Panasonic, Sony, Sharp, JVC, all these plants into Malaysia in the 1990s and the 2000s. And this is what the countries that focus on technology, same happened with Vietnam and same with South Korea. Their GDP goes up, the demand goes up, and the opportunities go up. And if you were to see the population age bracket, 60% of our population is young, between 15 and 64. This is a big, big asset. We should try to leverage our domestic market to make global manufacturers come to Pakistan and then export from Pakistan. So what is mobile phones? Is it a game changer for Pakistan? Most definitely it is a game changer, inshallah. It is a sunrise industry. Now, what is a sunrise industry? We talk about sunset clauses and sunset scenarios. But this is a sunrise industry, and according to Google, it's a new and growing industry, especially in electronics or telecommunication. So in Pakistan, when we start an industry, we are always asking, why are we not starting from designing or basic raw material? This is not how any industry in any developing country develops. This is how you develop. You develop the reverse. So until the year 2020, Pakistan was here. We were just importing and consuming the final product in terms of mobile phones. Then we moved to the next step, which other countries did before us, China, India, Vietnam, and then Pakistan joined this in 2021. After the policy, we started to assemble the final product. And now we have to, in this year, we will start doing the raw materials and components. So we are just entering this phase, and I think next 4 years, from 2023 until 2026, we would be in this phase of developing components and then later raw materials. And then we will go into the designing, the product design, the customizations, the IT side of it, the software side of it. So this is the logical progression. So I was talking to someone and he was saying, यार आप लोग माइक्रोप्रोसेसर क्यों नहीं बनाते हो? आप आईसी कब बनाओगे? भाई हम आईसी कभी नहीं बनाएंगे, क्योंकि हमें अपनी जो पोजीशन है ग्लोबल टेक्नोलॉजी फूड चेन में वो पता होनी चाहिए. This is what we want. We should be. We should be aiming to become the best assembler in the whole goddamn world. We are the best assembler, most efficient, best ecosystem. Okay, so let me just identify what is the landscape scenario. We have 40,000 skilled and semi-skilled jobs. These have been generated only in the past 2 years. We have 31 manufacturing plants across Pakistan. We've got production of about 3 million units every month. Half of these are feature phones and half of these are smartphones. Of course, this is before this current economic situation hit us. And almost all global brands are made in Pakistan. with 93 or 95% demand of the domestic market being met by local plants, and now we are preparing to become a global assembling hub. Now, this is an opportunity which it depends on us whether we capitalize on this opportunity or not. We can, it might happen कि 10 साल बाद पता चले यार एक इंडस्ट्री थी वो आज भी assembling ही कर रही है. ऐसी हैं इंडस्ट्रीज बहुत सारी जो आज भी वैसी चल रही हैं. Can we make a difference? I think we can, because the breed of people who are working in this industry are very dynamic. They are hungry for business, they are very competitive, and they just need a certain push from the government. A little bit of hand holding will do the job. हाँ भाई फिर नहीं चल रही. Okay. So if we were to look at in terms of landscape, I mean, you can see all of these brands, they are made in Pakistan. They contain global brands, they contain local brands, but these are the companies that are your soldiers, the feet on the battlefield. So, अगर आप हमें मजबूत करेंगे, तो मेरा ख्याल है जब तक गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान इस इंडस्ट्री को ट्रस्ट नहीं करेगी, अगर सोच ये होगी कि यार ये तो सॉरी टू यूज द वर्ड चोर हैं सब, या ये कि टैक्स बेनिफिट्स चाहते हैं, या ये कि यू नो दे आर नॉट रियली सीरियस, तो मेरा ख्याल है फिर बात जो है वो आगे नहीं बढ़ पाएगी. सो लेट अस वर्क टुगेदर लाइक इट हैज हैपेंड इन अदर कंट्रीज ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. सो दीज आर द ग्लोबल ब्रांड्स मेड इन पाकिस्तान. नाउ आई थिंक वी शुड बी फीलिंग प्राउड that in just a small period of 2 years, we have Samsung being made in Pakistan, Xiaomi, Nokia, then the Chinese Infinix, Oppo, Vivo, Tecno, ZTE, Realme, Redmi, Itel. Now, all of these are now being made in Pakistan. And you saw the video, there is a genuine manufacturing industry. It's not just वो table पे बैठ के कोई assembly नहीं हो रही. It's a genuine manufacturing industry. And by the way, it is very complex process to manufacture or assemble a mobile phone as well. So this means with these global brands present here, the global value chain is accessible. And mobile phones can really become Pakistan's champion industry. There's a realistic possibility today in 2023, we can say that we are poised to become a champion industry. Depends on the industry and the government and how we work together as a team to make it happen, inshallah. Now there are, of course, दुनिया में आप reinvent भी कर सकते हैं व्हील, या फिर आप सीख भी सकते हैं ना. इंसानों में खास बात यह है कि चूंटियों की तरह हम दोबारा से वहीं से शुरू नहीं करते. We pick, learn from others, and we try to emulate the good examples. So what are the good examples in the mobile phone manufacturing sector? 2 examples, sir. Vietnam and India. वियतनाम ने हाथ पैर जोड़ के सैमसंग का प्लांट लगवाया 2014 में. They gave them a 30-year tax exemption. They gave them land, subsidized. They gave them any policy that Samsung wanted. And Samsung started with, you know, with a zero level in 2014, and today the export of mobile phones from Vietnam is almost 57.5 billion US dollars every year, and all of it is Samsung. अब उसके बाद फिर और कंपनीज भी वहाँ जाना शुरू हो गई. Secondly, then India is now focusing on the mobile phone sector. And now their exports are doubling. Every year they're doubling. And their target is very simple. $125 billion in exports over the next 5 years. So what do they want to do actually? It's very clear, sir. They want to replace China as the mobile phone manufacturer of the world. This is what they want to do. They are targeting, they started just in 2017. They first started in 2014, then the industry flopped, then they again started in 2017, 2018. Now, of course, if we just keep on assembling, we will never have a competitive advantage. So what do we have to do? We have to manufacture locally. So I was sitting yesterday with some of my friends in Papam, the auto parts manufacturers, and I was talking about these things. यार ये local करनी है. And they jumped up on the volume. They said कितनी quantity है? हम तो 3,000, 5,000 गाड़ियों per month के हिसाब से चलते हैं. I said the quantity is about 3 million per month. And Mehdi just jumped up and he said, "Yeah, I want to set up a plant for these plastic parts. This is a plastic part. It's so simple for the auto sector. We make bumpers and dashboards and steering wheels and all of these parts. So people are ready to invest. It's just that we have to give them the right cascading tariff, जो कि EDB का और FBR का काम है, and we have to give them a hope that there will be stability in policy. So these are all the parts, you know, what we need. The requisites क्या हैं, sir? Consistency of government policy. ये critical है, क्योंकि सबसे बड़ा मसला ये है. We need country stability to attract global players to invest in the parts industry. Automobile industry का सबसे बड़ा जो failure है, वो assemblers का failure नहीं है. वो फेलियर हम सब का है कि हम ऑटोमोबाइल ग्लोबल ऑटोमोबाइल पार्ट्स मैन्युफैक्चरर्स को पाकिस्तान में नहीं लाए जिस तरह वो थाईलैंड और दूसरे मुल्कों में गए. सो आई थिंक यहाँ हम ये गलती नहीं करेंगे. एंड द चाइनीज कंपनीज स्पेशली आर ऑलरेडी रेडी टू कम इन लोकल जॉइंट वेंचर्स फॉर लोकल पार्ट्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग. वी नीड अ कैस्केडिंग टैरिफ. ये बिल्कुल ज़रूरी है कि भाई एक सर्टन गैप हो, रीजनेबल गैप. And then, of course, the potential GDP impact of 40% localization is a business of rupees 200 billion every year for the local manufacturers. So it's a huge, huge possibility. Now, I'm just coming to the end of the presentation. What is the big opportunity here? Domestic market के लिए करते रहे तो फिर तो कोई बात ही नहीं बनी ना. So I think we need to position ourselves to capture the big opportunity to leapfrog. सर ये मुल्क अब एक ऐसे सिनेरियो में है जहाँ पे ट्रेडिशनल सेक्टर्स हमें अब उठा के इस क्राइसिस से बाहर नहीं ले जा सकते. वी नीड टू सपोर्ट द ट्रेडिशनल सेक्टर्स बाय सम गेम चेंजिंग लीप फ्रॉगिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज, लीप फ्रॉगिंग सेक्टर्स लाइक IT, लाइक मोबाइल फोन्स. नाउ व्हाट डू वी नीड टू डू फ्रॉम द एसोसिएशंस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू? We would like to focus on this number. This is China. China's exports are $127.9 billion every year. This is 48.4% of global cell phone exports in the world. Vietnam is number 2. And then you see here, I think the key points to understand, China is looking for a second country. They have adopted a China plus one strategy. They're looking for a second country. So वो दरवाजे के बाहर खड़े हैं, मगर हम अभी फसाद से फारिग नहीं हैं. तो अभी हमारा झगड़ा चल रहा है, जब खत्म होगा तो फिर वो अंदर दाखिल होना शुरू होंगे. This is a labor intensive industry. And China monthly labor cost is about $700 as compared to Pakistan is about $150 for a skilled worker. Of course, this is a perfect industry for the CPEC phase 2. B2B cooperation ke liye, this is a perfect industry. And I think the target that the government and the industry should set for itself is that we want to relocate 10% of Chinese exports to Pakistan plants. And I want to also say that even in textile sectors, 60% of the value of textiles exported from Pakistan, even more sometimes, is imported content. The cotton is imported, a lot of yarns, zippers, buttons, are all imported. So वो जो एक कहानी है ना कि जी वो local industry और value addition, so we can start with a value addition of 12% and step by step increase it to about 30-35% and we'll be at par with the textile sector or the leather sector, something like that. And then phase 2 should be, once the Chinese have confidence, I think we should be targeting 30% of Chinese exports. Now that means 40 billion in annual exports. This is possible. Vietnam has done it. We can also do it, but we need to work together with trust. We need to trust each other. थोड़ा सा हो सकता है आपको लगे कभी as a government कि यार industry पैसे बना रही है, बनाने दें. As long as we are keeping our money in this country and reinvesting, this is a perfect formula जिस पे सारे मुल्क जो है वो grow करते हैं. So let's try to emulate the Vietnam success story. To summarize, sir, I want to say that the government trusted us and the mobile industry has responded very positively to this trust. Foreign investment has also arrived from 3 companies at least, Oppo, Vivo and Transsion, and had the economic situation of the country been better, I'm sure that there would have been more foreign investment from companies of the same level, the global companies. Domestic investment has been made despite very difficult economic conditions. So we've हम खड़े हुए हैं, we've stepped up and put our money where our mouth is. Now the industry wants to go to the next level. We want to earn foreign exchange for Pakistan. What we need is political stability, we need policy consistency, and we need a good country image to attract FDI. Minister Saab, the only thing that will save ultimately medium-term, long-term solution for Pakistan is foreign direct investment. India last year had a current account deficit of $100 billion US, but they got $88 billion in foreign direct investment and that deficit was wiped out. We need a similar story. We need to let people come into the door and participate in Pakistan's economic growth. So to close with a saying, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So let's try and make jobs in Pakistan, sir. That's our objective. Thank you very much. I think I see no reason why, and the association would also be pushing for localization, that there is no reason why the local assemblers would not buy parts from the local industry. Now the key point is, as I mentioned in my presentation, the cascading of the tariffs is very important, which means that the raw material has to be at 0%, then the part of the part, means the charger component should be at maybe 5%, then the finished product should be at 20%. So there should be a certain, and this we have implemented very successfully along with the EDB in the automotive sector. It works very well. So this kind of a cascaded tariff we have to prepare, and for that we really need the support of EDB along with the MOI and especially the FPR. So I think we are going to move in that direction. So it's very heartening to see that you are coming up with this project, and I hope that there will be many others who would also venture into this project. There is going to be very, very tough competition because the investment requirement is not so high, and there will be, and this is very good. And so I think the next step for you, sir, is to also start preparing for the localization of the plastic components of the charger and some other parts that the charger utilizes. So that's what I believe is the manufacturer's viewpoint. We already have around 10 global brands that are being manufactured in Pakistan. So जो नकी साहब ने बात की वो थी from the point of view of the local brands जो कि export की market को target कर रहे हैं. But at the same time, for example, if Xiaomi or Techno, Infinix or Oppo or Vivo, they are being made in the Pakistan plant, and as the quality levels are the same as required on a global level, if we could effectively create a policy framework and an incentive structure that could make the parent company, which is based in China, to start shipping their product from Pakistan plant rather than from the Chinese plant. And I must add also Nokia in this list. And all of these brands are interested to use because they have the Pakistan plant, because they have created the necessary capacities. So there is definitely a possibility. It depends on us how we can cash on that possibility. But the global supply chains, the global value chains are available to the Pakistani manufacturers.
So excuse me, I want to add something. As far as I come to know, 60% African market is a vacant market. There is a huge consumption of cellular products, and I think if you people have planned to reach that market, that is you can earn can generate a lot of revenue from there. Second thing is that I want to ask, this is a little bit a concern question. If you people are exporting, sorry for that, importing some raw material from there, manufacturing of soft material is here. Do you people have raw material from other countries, or that will be provided by the Pakistani market?
Let me try to address this question. I think the African market is definitely a very attractive market because there are 500 million people in those countries that make up Africa. And also the Chinese brands have become very popular in Africa. But it's not only the African market, but also the Central Asian market and the Middle East market. So there are many avenues that are open. The key point, gentlemen, is to understand that Pakistani manufacturers have been able to produce the quality that has given them 90+% of the domestic market share. If the product quality of made in Pakistan was not up to the mark as compared to, for example, an Oppo product made in China, the Pakistani consumer would have rejected it, and you would have seen reviews upon reviews on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter discarding the made in Pakistan product. But the first step has been done, which is we have set up plants in collaboration and in equity partnerships with the global brands in Pakistan. We have met the expectation of the Pakistani consumer. Now we need to convince our Chinese partners to use Pakistan to export only 10% of their global markets. So, of course, there will be challenges. There are still localization needs to be done in the next 2 or 3 years. But if we can set up the necessary incentive structure, we can kickstart the export process, and with the volumes coming up, more and more localization, and as the gentleman mentioned, the plant that is coming up for chargers, there are many others coming up for batteries, and so we will move on to a path which will make this industry grow and create more and more employment opportunities and export revenues, inshallah. एक और पॉइंट का इजाफा कर दूँ, हमें अपने लिए वो अपॉर्चुनिटी देखनी चाहिए जो हमारे इंटरेस्ट के साथ मैच करती हो। एप्पल इंडिया में अपने प्लांट को इसलिए एक्सपेंड कर रहा है क्योंकि वो चाइना के मुकाबले में अपना सेकंड बेस क्रिएट करना चाहते हैं। वो ये चाहते हैं कि वो चाइना का जो फॉक्सकॉन का प्लांट है उसकी प्रोडक्शन को कम करें, और एप्पल का जो इंडिया का फॉक्सकॉन का प्लांट है उसकी प्रोडक्शन बढ़ाएं ताकि उनकी डिपेंडेंस चाइना के ऊपर कम हो। ये इंडिया के लिए बहुत फ़ायदे की चीज़ बन गई क्योंकि उनकी मोबाइल फ़ोन इंडस्ट्री ऑलरेडी इतनी डेवलप थी कि वो एप्पल के स्टैंडर्ड को मीट कर सकते थे और उन्होंने एप्पल को वेलकम किया और बहुत इंसेंटिव्स दिए। अब हमारे लिए अपॉर्चुनिटी क्या है? अब एप्पल को हम पाकिस्तान में ले आएंगे, एप्पल हार्डली 20-25 हज़ार यूनिट्स पर मंथ बिकता है पाकिस्तान में, इट्स नॉट अ वेरी बिग क्वांटिटी। आई थिंक हमारे लिए जो खास तौर पर मैं ईडीपी सीईओ साहब बैठे हैं, हमारे लिए जो अपॉर्चुनिटी है वो ये है कि चाइना इज ऑल्सो लुकिंग फॉर अ सेकेंड मैन्युफैक्चरिंग बेस। चाइना प्लस वन स्ट्रेटेजी इज द वे फॉरवर्ड फॉर अस, क्योंकि चाइना को इस वक्त यूएस और यूरोपियन मार्केट से बहुत ज़्यादा रेजिस्टेंस मिल रही है, बहुत ज़्यादा ट्रेड बैरियर्स हैं जो वहाँ क्रिएट हो रहे हैं चाइनीज़ मेड इन चाइना प्रोडक्ट्स के लिए। सो चाइना इज लुकिंग फॉर एन अपॉर्चुनिटी। तो हमें वो देखना चाहिए कि हम किस तरह से चाइना को ये कन्विंस कर सकते हैं कि वो अपने 127 बिलियन डॉलर की जो एक्सपोर्ट है उसका 10% पाकिस्तान मूव करे, फिर 20%, फिर 30%, फिर 50%। अब आप इमेजिन करें अगर 127 बिलियन डॉलर का 50% पाकिस्तान से एक्सपोर्ट हो रहा हो तो कितना बड़ा इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी का एक तूफान जो है वो क्रिएट होगा और कितनी जॉब्स क्रिएट कर सकेंगे हम, कितनी एक्सपोर्ट जनरेट कर सकेंगे। तो हमें ये देखना है, आईफोन अपनी जगह है, एक दिन वो आ जाएगा, बट दैट इज नॉट अ गेम चेंजर। द गेम चेंजर इज हाउ वी कैन पार्टनर विद चाइना under CPEC B2B cooperation and relocate their export from China to Pakistan.